Hi, good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to recap what happened on day 4, actually day 3 of testimony in the Uvalde School shooting. Good morning, Sherilyn. Welcome in. I'm doing the recap live today. Adrian Gonzalez, who is a school resource officer, he worked for the Consolidated Independent School District and was assigned actually to the high school, not the elementary school, Robb Elementary School, where the school shooting occurred. But he responded to an accident. This whole thing started as an accident back on May 22nd of 2024 when Salvador Ramos, 18 years old, shot his grandmother, gets into a vehicle with 2 semi-automatic weapons, hundreds of rounds. He doesn't know how to drive the truck that he got into. Gets into and he actually went to this Robb Elementary School. He was from the neighborhood. He drives down. There's a sharp curve that turns where the elementary school is. He doesn't make the curve. He swerves out of control and ends up in a ditch. I look cold. Yes, my heater is fixed and it's freezing outside. It's like 24 degrees this morning, but I'm going on a cruise tomorrow. So Adrian Gonzalez was responding to that accident. People were calling 911, reporting it as an accident. It very quickly became an active shooter situation. But Adrian Gonzalez, here's what we know about Adrian. He's charged with 29 counts of child endangerment related to 21 deaths that occurred. 2 of those deaths were teachers, 19 children, 18 people injured, including his grandmother, the shooter's grandmother. The shooter was killed. So here's what we know so far from this week's testimony. The only thing I know about Adrian Gonzalez is when he responded, he drove through the back gate at the south end of the school, and one witness has testified that there's no way at the time he drove in that gate in his police car, the shooter was between vehicles in a parking lot, and there was no way he would have been able to see this shooter. That's all we know about the evidence against Adrian Gonzalez. The rest of the evidence has been gruesome, bloody, way more detail than we ever needed. So I'm going to talk about what happened yesterday in the trial. It was very boring. If you sat through it on normal speed, God bless you. I had it on 2 times speed because it was super boring. 3 Texas Rangers were testifying. They were all responded to assist in crime scene investigation. The first Texas Ranger, he got there the night of the shooting. They all got there the night of the shooting, but it took them days to go through their assignments. They each had a different room assignment to process the crime scene. And that's to look for bullet fragments, bullet casings, anything related to the shooting. So the first guy testified that when he got there, his first job that night was to help identify the victims. And what he said was so chilling. There had been an awards ceremony that morning. This is the end of the school year, 1 week left at school. And they had this awards ceremony, and a lot of the parents had showed up and taken pictures of their kids. So he was getting those pictures from the parents with the exact clothing that they were wearing when they were shot. So it was kind of, that assisted them in identifying these victims. So they get all the victims identified. They remove all of the bodies except for the shooter. The shooter was still there when one of the guys was the shooter was in room 111 and 112. Well, 111 and 112 is where most of the victims were, most, if not all the victims were. But in 111 is where the shooter was shot and killed. So his body was still there during some of the crime scene investigation. In any case, they were finding the first guy, his assignment was room, what was it? I don't remember the room number, but I can show you on the map. Now, I pulled up a map because yesterday we had problems with me pointing to the map. So I'm going to show you what I know about this shooting so far. Let me get my photos. Okay, so here's this map of the school. This is kind of, I don't have a pointer, so no, you don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that. Oh, I've got some glare. Okay, so he was in this classroom right here, this corner classroom on the west side of the building. So we know the shooter came in this way and went up the west side of the building shooting. So this is where the crime scene investigator was, the first one was working through this room. And then he did some of the other rooms on the west side. But the shooter had gone in and he was shooting in every window here. So they were finding fragments and shrapnel absolutely everywhere in these rooms, including it went through shattered windows. It shattered a door frame. And the interesting thing I learned yesterday was this school was made of, the buildings were metal. They weren't like concrete or plaster. These were metal buildings. So they there was ceiling, the bullets went into the ceiling, bullets went into books, and they showed these books. And the first book you see is Life of Bill Cosby. Now, why did someone not think to pull that book out of the school? Why are we learning about the life of Bill Cosby in elementary school still? That should have been pulled. But anyway, bullets went through these books. It was just everywhere. There was pieces of blinds, pieces of window frame. All of this had to be collected as evidence. This took him days to go through all of this crime scene investigation. There was one bullet that came through the window and went all the way through the classroom, through the door frame on the other side of the classroom, and into the hallway. Now, I don't believe anybody was injured in this room, but yeah. So this can be quick today because I'm telling you this. This was a lot of photographs after photograph after photograph, and some of them were very gruesome. This one, just like this guy, you just saw placards and evidence tape and stuff like that. So then we get the second guy. His job was to crime scene investigate room 111. Like I said, all the children's bodies had been taken out of room 111 because 111 and 112 were where all the bodies were. They were taken out, and he gets there about 11 o'clock. The suspect is still in the room. And so he testified about where the suspect was in relationship to the rifle. And there were magazines that he collected. Some were full, some were empty, but there were a lot of them. So, and Court TV kept saying, graphic images will not be shown. And they weren't. They were not. We didn't get to see them. But he said there was blood splatter. He was trying to describe it. There was blood splatter everywhere. It just, I can't even imagine the jury having to sit through all of those photographs. I just, and the reason I could fast forward it so fast is because they just weren't showing us the photographs, and he was asked to describe them. And quite frankly, it has nothing to do with the guilt or innocence of Adrian Gonzalez, which we're here. He's on trial. Why are we, the whole reason this is important is because the defense wants to prove or show to the jury that the location where Adrian Gonzalez was parked, he was not he wasn't seeing all the shooting going on, and he wasn't affected by all the shooting, because there was some testimony that there were shots fired in the south, and we're going to get to what that was. So then we get the Texas Ranger that had the job of room 24, and that's where this most southern bullet, I think this was probably the most southern bullet that was fired in this case. And this is a semi-automatic. It's not coming out one bullet at a time. This is a spray of bullets. So what I think happened here is that the gunman, when he was on the corner, let me show you. So most of the the shell casings were all along this walkway here, this bottom walkway. Now I'm going to pull up another picture. So this is kind of showing you here. Now this third officer, here's where the shootings occurred, in this building here. Hold on. I'm trying to do it so I can point at it. Boy, I need to find an easier way, right? All right. So the shootings occurred in this building here. And this is what, the west side. The casings were all, every time I touch it, it's going to do that. The casings, the shell casings that were found were all along this walkway here. And then he went upwards. But this third FBI, or this third Texas Ranger, he was investigating this room right here, room 24, which was on this end. And on this wall right here, at the top of the wall, they found a defect in the building. So what they think happened is when he was here spraying bullets, one of them went this way. Because none of the there were no casings found in any of this area here. And Adrian Gonzalez was parked somewhere in this area. I'm not exactly sure where, or it could have even been south of that, because they really haven't told us. So this is classroom 24. Hey, Tammy, welcome in. So that's pretty much what they concluded. And they wanted to prevent the defense from saying that it could have happened from bullets that were being fired in room 111 that went over to building 24. Probably not. But if he had been any farther south, if the shooter had been any farther south of where that line of casings was found, you would have seen casings to the south, and they just didn't find any casings there. Good morning. And then we get the medical examiner, who the Court TV was having technical issues, so we missed like the first 10 minutes of this guy's testimony. Like, we got to hear his background in education and all that good stuff. But when he first started talking about the autopsies, we didn't get to hear it. So by the time they picked it up, he was going through each autopsy, but they weren't laboring on it, thank God. What they were doing was they would put up the autopsy photo of the child. He would gather he'd go through his stack, he'd get that report out, and then he would talk about the major internal findings for that child, like what killed them. And it's chilling. I'll go through it very quickly. Obviously, we didn't get to see any of the photos. So the first report that we got to hear testimony on, there was 12, and these names are all Latin, and I'm listening to this on a high rate of speed, and I couldn't pick up the names of each child, but yeah, anyway. So there was the first one he talks about was there was 12 gunshot wounds. It was a gunshot wound to the brain that killed him. The next one was 12 gunshot wounds. It was a gunshot wound to the heart that killed him. The next one was 4 gunshot wounds to the brain and the heart. The next one was 8 gunshot wounds. Hi, Joanna. To the brain. The brain is what killed that child. The next one had 13 gunshot wounds. It was a gunshot wound to the heart that took this child's life. The next one had 4 gunshot wounds. This one, one went into the internal jugular and one went into the lung. That would have caused this child's death. The next one was 5 gunshot wounds to the right carotid artery and jugular and both lungs. So that would have caused the death of that child. The next one had 3 gunshot wounds. It was a gunshot wound to the brain that killed that child. The next 2 were 5 each, and both involved gunshot wounds to the brain that killed those children. The next one was 3 gunshot wounds. It was a gunshot wound to the brain and the right lung that would have killed that child. Same with the next one. It was a single gunshot wound that went into the heart and lung. And look at her talking about Margaret Morales during my crime show. I love it, Joanna. Anyway, then there was next one was 4 gunshot wounds to both lungs and the brachiocephalic artery, which is in here. And next one was 2 gunshot wounds to the brain. Next one was 3 gunshot wounds, both lungs. And next one was a single gunshot wound to his heart and lungs. And the next one was a single gunshot wound to the brain. So what I figured out from that is we missed one autopsy report when they were having technical issues. So following this, and that was it. Thank God, that was all we had to listen to. And I don't think he did the autopsies of the adults. This was just the children. Afterwards, the attorneys moved for those photographs to be sealed, so they will never be seen by the public. And that the judge said, you don't have to do that. I've already entered that order. He had done that ahead of time, saying that nobody could get a hold of those photographs. So, yeah, Tammy got an order from DAC. I know. So then we have the last witness, and this explains a lot, this last witness. This was the mother of Ileana Guerrera. She was a 9-year-old that was deceased in the shootings. I noticed, because when this trial first started, I thought, oh man, the courtroom must be packed with parents and, teachers, and it's not. When you look, the courtroom is not packed, and here's why. There's a sequestration order, and anybody that's on a witness list cannot be in that courtroom until after they testify. So now what you're going to see this coming week while I'm on my cruise is a parade of parents coming in to testify. Once they have testified, then they are allowed to sit into the courtroom. So I think what will happen is after all of the testimony of the parents, you'll start to see this courtroom fill up. And the judge warns the audience, the people in the pews all the time. This is very graphic. If you can't handle it, you need to leave. So anyway, this mother, oh, the guilt she must have. My God, she had been there. Her daughter was 9 years old. Her birthday was the following week, June 4th. She would have been 10 years old. She didn't make it to her 10th birthday. And it sounds like this mom had older children and a baby. So she had dropped the older children off at school. Then she dropped her Ileana off at school. And then she went home to get ready for the awards ceremony. She picks the baby up. She goes to the awards ceremony. They're doing pictures. And she did not take her daughter home after the awards ceremony because in the days prior, the teacher had said, hey, I'm going to be doing a pizza party. We're going to watch movies. All the parents donated $2 each so they could have this pizza party. So she told her daughter, stay, watch the movie, have the pizza. And like she just broke up during that testimony because she feels horrible about leaving her daughter there. So anyway, she learns about the shooting. Someone calls her and says, something's going on at the school. You need to get over there. So she runs to the school. She's there all day waiting for updates. She cannot find her child. So what they did was they directed all of the parents that were still looking for children to a civic center. And at the civic center, they were as the children were being evacuated, they were put on buses and taken to the Civic Center to reunite with their parents. And so this woman is waiting as this bus after bus after bus comes, and she's not seeing her daughter. She said she was one of the last, if not the last person notified about her daughter's death. Like 10 or 11 o'clock that night, she's waiting the entire day at the Civic Center looking for her daughter. So sad. So that was the end of the day. Not, you know, and after that, the judge says, okay, now you can sit in the courtroom and listen to the rest of the trial. So that's it. That's all we know from this week. What's Tammy saying? Let's see. Tammy says, from what I remember, when it first happened, they were saying he did nothing wrong. He followed protocol and they were using him as the fall guy. I don't know. Joanna says, these stories crushed my heart. Sherilyn says, what do we say? Hold on, Sherilyn. Where are you, Sherilyn? The case has made it so hard to leave my granddaughter at school after her awards the past few years. I know. But yeah. So far, I haven't seen or heard anything to convince me he's guilty of the charges. Exactly. I haven't. Now he may be. Maybe. I think this is going to be a very long trial. I think when I get back from this cruise, it's still going to be going on. I'll be able to catch you guys up, and because we're going to hear from a lot of parents. I need more evidence. I need to hear why they think this guy is guilty. I know there's a lot more video footage out there that we're going to see. Yeah, Sherilyn says it kind of seems like the prosecution state is trying to get a conviction based on emotion with showing the crime scene photos. No doubt. You know, the photographs are shown to the jury to assist them in understanding the evidence or the crime. Just get to the evidence and get this guy. Just let's hear the evidence. Let's stop. I know it was horrible. It was terrible. All these children died. I get it. But why have you charged this guy? I haven't heard anything. All we know is that he drove into the back of the school. I don't know where he parked. I don't know what he did after I don't know what witness said what to whom, to him. I haven't heard anything yet. So while I'm on the cruise, maybe you guys will hear it because I'm not going to have internet on the cruise. So any questions, guys? Thanks for coming in for this recap. I'm trying to do them live now because editing is so, I spend a lot of time editing, and YouTube is being very, very slow processing videos. The other day, it took me 2 hours to get a video processed and uploaded. So it's just as easy to go live and answer you guys' questions, let you guys comment. Do you like the live format? Do you want me to continue the live format or go back to recaps? It's up to you. The evil guy was on a mission. I don't think anyone could have stopped. And if anyone tried, they would have lost their life. Yeah. I keep referring back to the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting where 17 teenagers died, school shooting. And the people that, they weren't police officers, they were coaches. But when they ran toward the building where the shooting was occurred and went in the building to impede or stop the shooter, they were killed. They died. That's not to say, the police officers, they've got a vest on. It might have been the cheapo vest, because this guy's a school resource officer and he didn't need a tactical vest. Border Patrol apparently needs tactical vests, and so does ICE, but the school resource officers, they don't get tactical vests. So he's running in basically, with a handgun, and yeah. And what is, they're going to get to it, but they're going to start talking about reverb. Like when a gunfire is going off like that, it's reverberating. These are metal buildings. The sound must have been horrendous, and it's everywhere because it reverberates off all the buildings. So if you're on the south side of that building, you don't know where it's coming from. And I haven't heard what is it that he could see. Now, my first thought when this thing first started was, back when, going back to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, they didn't destroy that building until after the trials were over, all the trials. Then they destroyed the building. This building is already gone. So there's not going to be a jury view. I thought, they're going to put these people on a bus. They're good, because that would have been ideal. Put these people on a bus, the jury, take them to the location, and then it would have made way more sense, because this building is oddly positioned on this corner property, and it's very difficult to describe northeast, south, and west, because the whole building's kind of at an angle on the property. He shot over 100 rounds in 2 minutes. Wow, Joanna. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Sherilyn says, easier to ask questions and get feedback. Thank you. Okay, I agree. Like the one defense attorney mentioned with the high-powered rifle, the vest wouldn't have protected them much at all. Oh, no, not at all. No. But to see that video of the SWAT team running from the shooter, I can't get past it. Now, we have not seen that. That's not in evidence yet. I'm just talking about stuff that is in evidence. And, once this guy is inside the building, I don't think I don't know. Anyway, that was the point. They kept saying different directions. No one really knew where the shooter was. Yeah. How many kids would be alive if they did not run? Now, I agree with you, but that's a whole different issue. This issue is, what did Adrian Gonzalez do wrong? He's not one of those tactical guys that turn around and ran, and we haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. I'm trying to see this as a juror would see this. I wasn't living in Texas. I know what I saw on the nightly news, which was like 30 seconds, 60 seconds, maybe at best. But I didn't watch the footage, so I'm seeing what the jury is seeing, and I'm learning what the jury is learning as the evidence is presented. So there's been no evidence presented to me or the jurors of anybody running away from a building. Now, it might come while I'm on the cruise. I don't know. I know it's on YouTube and I can go see it, but Joanna just misses the point. I'm trying to give you guys the perspective of the jury and what the evidence shows. Now, if that's going to come into evidence, then we'll talk about it when it comes into evidence. But I'm trying to show you guys what the evidence is against Adrian Gonzalez. Now, when the police chief goes on trial, that's a whole nother ballgame. Police chief's going to go on trial. Then we're going to talk about his officers running from the scene. That's a whole different thing. But that has nothing to do with Adrian Gonzalez. So leaving for the cruise tomorrow. I'm all packed and ready to go. I may throw a couple more pairs of underwear or something into the suitcase, but I'm packed. I haven't decided whether I'm going to bring a yarn project. I don't think I'm going to, because it's going to be hot. I'm going to bring a book, and I don't know if I really want to bring a diamond painting or not. Like, am I really going to sit on a cruise ship and diamond paint? I know people say that they do that, but I don't know. Like, won't I be busy? Like, I want to go snorkeling, not diamond painting. I don't know. I'll bring it. I don't know that I'm going to get it out, but we'll see. All my outfits are packed. The shoes that I ordered that said that delivery on Saturday, they're not coming till tomorrow. I'll already be gone, so I'm just going to send those back. It was just a nice pair of ergonomic flip-flops, which it's okay. I can go look for some today at the DSW. But here it is, guys. There's my store, Crafting and Crime Daily, where you guys can pick up any diamond painting you want. I am going to stop shipping physical products like my tumblers, my t-shirts, things like that. I will not be shipping that to internationally. It's too expensive, and there's nothing I can do to bring down that cost. But Diamond paintings, I can still do international. So I have set 6 new sets of minis to release while I'm on the cruise. I can schedule them to release ahead of time. And one of them is a set of cruise minis. You guys are going to love them. You're going to love them. In case of weather, you get bored. Oh, weather. I didn't think about weather. Oh, the weather better be great for this daggum wedding. Because rain or shine, though, wedding is happening on the beach. Wow. Yeah. Goodness gracious. So yeah, I was up till 5 a.m. Like all this stuff's going through my head. Yesterday, I was just kind of paralyzed by YouTube. You go down a rabbit hole and you start watching video after video. And I was, thank you, Sherilyn. Joanna's saying George is pigging out on chicken chips. He's hooked on them. Those chicken chips are crack. Oh God, I haven't bought Tootsie anymore since she ate the entire bag. But after that shooting of Renee Good and the new video that came out, I'm watching this and I'm getting different channels and different videos, and I finally said, I gotta stop. I was getting depressed. I'm like, oh, I gotta stop watching this. I gotta go do something else. So I put on The Traitors. Guys, go watch The Traitors. 3 episodes. The first 3 episodes are out. This is the best reality TV show on television. And Alan Cummings, the host, they have increased his budget, like his wardrobe budget. You got to see the wardrobe. So yeah, I got to be at my son's house at 5 a.m. and we're going in 2 cars. My son and my future daughter-in-law, they're driving. I get to sit in the back seat, relax. I'm going to bring my headphones, listen to rest. I'm listening to an Audible book. So I want to finish up my Audible book that I'm listening to. Better than Big Brother. The Traitors, hands down, is the best reality. They won Best Reality TV last year. They won the Emmy, and rightly so. It is so good. Travis and Jason Kelsey's mother is on it. There are several Big Brother players. There are several Survivor players. There's Real Housewives players. There's some Love Island players. There's Tara Lipinski and Johnny Weir from the ice skating world. And if you guys aren't watching the ice skating, you're missing some great. They're having the U.S. Nationals as we speak in St. Louis, Missouri, which I should have drove over there. I went to the U.S. Nationals last year. This year, I didn't. But I realized I probably could have drove over there. It's only like 5 hours away. But yeah. Oh, check out The Traitors. Oh, it's on Peacock. Like I said, just the first 3 episodes. And if you've never seen it before, go back and watch the first season. This is season 4, and all 4 seasons are so good. So good. If you love Big Brother and Survivor and all those other shows, and you like different players, they're all on this Traitors show, and it is so good. And the concept is just so good. They threw a twist in there for season 4, so I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but go watch it. So I think that's it for this morning, guys. That's the recap. Yeah, so while I'm on the cruise, look for those new releases, diamond painting releases. One is a painting for Get Your Weird On. It's for Year of the Horse and Get Your Weird On. You guys are going to love it. If you're doing Year of the Horse, this is the one you want to do for Get Your Weird On event that is in March. So you're going to want to get that canvas right away. Then 6 sets of minis that are coming out that you are going to love. Anyway, I love you all. I'm going to have a fabulous time. I am not going to think about any of this drama going on in the U.S. Trump says he's going after Mexico next. Please wait till after my cruise, Donald. Okay, do you mind? Let me have my little weekend in Cozumel. Then you can go after the drug cartels in Mexico. I'm just going to forget about all that. I'm going to forget about ICE, destroying our communities. And I'm going to have a good time. Thank you all for watching. If you don't have any other questions, I'm going to call it a morning. Feel free to message me or leave a comment if you have questions. If you're watching back on the replay, thank you. Please, this is a great time before I sign off to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Yeah. Thank you. So yes, Tammy, thank you very much. And I will see you guys next week. You're going to get a whole week without me. What are you going to do? Bye, everybody. Take care.